Hey guys, it's Comics G-Man here again. Gonna talk about the newest Fantastic Four issues. Still written by Ryan North, and it's a continuation of the 2023 to 2024 run. And also, I guess you could say it's still tied to the One World Under Doom miniseries, but there's a few issues that we'll go over as to why I think it's a little weird. Alright, so just to get started, I wrote down for issue number 1. I'm not going to crap on this issue too hard because it's a new number 1, but I'm not saying this is a strong start either. Right away, there is a decay in the art style, not looking as good as the previous run, even at that one's worst. And that run had a lot of good art, mostly. I would say near the end, like in the 20s, there was a couple of good ones, but not as many. But like from 1 to 20, consistently damn good art on that run. Excuse me, I just ate. So what happens? So Doom has trapped each member of the Fantastic Four in totally different time periods of Earth. He puts insane time gaps between each member, and the only plan they have for situations like this is using a Forever Stone to find each other. It's crazy. Like, Johnny ends up in, like, freaking, I'm exaggerating, but it was like 400 billion BC, right? And he's like, when the Earth is forming and there's the volcanoes, there's not even a single form of life to be found. And he's slowly dying because there's barely any oxygen, so he doesn't have much time. But he had enough time to use the Forever Stone and write his mark for the future iterations of the Fantastic Four to find. A little convoluted. I understood the concept, but to be frank, it's a little hard to explain, and it was a little hard to grasp at first. I had to read it just a couple of times, and it's still kind of like the whole Forever Stone thing. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. Like, maybe because I haven't read previous things like before this new run, and they've used this before. But like, how did they know to use? How did they have it? Where did they get it from? Do they just? I guess they carry it around in a pocket dimension thing, and they didn't really explain that too well, or it went over my head. One of those two things. Secondly, so I said Johnny is in the earliest stages of Earth's formation, no life. He writes it down on the Forever Stone, and I guess he leaves some kind of signal that would last long enough for the next person, which the next person is the Thing. The Thing is in the Dino period, whatever, in one of those times, also hundreds of millions or millions years after Johnny, so another huge time gap. Reed is in the year 1226, some kind of medieval thing is going on there. And Sue, being the last one, is the only key for the team to get back to their time together. She's in a far-off future where the sun is dying and all the oceans and life are gone. Reed is in 1226, right? I understand that. And Sue ends up like freaking, it said I think like 700,000 AD or whatever, and there's no life, and the sun is ready to become a supernova because it's at its death, and Earth is like very little. And what happens in this issue too is like when she's in this wasteland looking around and trying to figure out how to find the Forever Stone, she finds like this little puddle of water in a cave, and it's really like the last forms of life fighting for life. It's like little bacteria in the water. And she's like, I could drink the water and it could help me survive a little longer, but I'd be pretty much making the rest of life on this future timeline of Earth go extinct. Which I think is kind of stupid at this point, because it's like, it's bacteria. Although, you know what, it doesn't make sense, because if she drinks the bacteria, if she drinks the water that has the last forms of cellular life on Earth, is it really like a horrible thing to do? Because if the Earth is ending and the sun is about to become a supernova and swallow the Earth in its heat and eradicate everything, like, what future is there for the bacteria? Like if she drinks the bacteria, they're dead, right? That's the end of Earth. If she doesn't drink the water, then the water is going to die anyway. I mean, it's the last of the water and the rest of the... Because even you could say like, oh, well, she might be taking away possible evolutionary life that might form in the future or some bullshit by getting rid of that bacteria. But that's impossible because if the sun blows up and it swallows the Earth, where would Earth be? I mean, the power... If the sun blew up, would the Earth even still be here? Or would it just be like a smoldering rock? So if the Earth isn't here, or the Earth is like a former shell of itself, and it turns into a little smoldered asteroid from the explosion of the sun, the water is dead either way, so she should just drink the water. I get they're trying to show like how scientifically philosophical the characters are, but like when you really kind of boil down the concept right there, it kind of falls apart a little bit. And the other thing too is I noticed some of the criticisms of this issue, which I guess are kind of valid, but I don't really agree with them. People are complaining that Sue is now going to be the new leader of the Fantastic Four because of this. I didn't get that from this at all. And I guess it's because she's the one who's the last one in the future who needs to find the Forever Stone and save the Fantastic Four, but that's kind of out of Sue's control because Doom was the one, while they were fighting before all of this, who sent them all with his Sorcerer Supreme magic. He sent the Fantastic Four to all these separate time periods. So that's out of Sue's control. You can't really be mad at Sue about that. She's just got to do what she's got to do to figure out how to save the Fantastic Four. If she dies, if she doesn't figure it out, that's it. The Fantastic Four is dead. Anyway, I said here, let's see. I like the idea and I'm interested, but one of the things bothering me is why is the Fantastic Four attacking Doom in the beginning of this issue? Didn't he just save everyone from Dormammu? And didn't One World Under Doom end with Maria Hill having dirt? So how do we cut to this so fast without proper build? And you could say, oh, but in the latest issue number 6, yes, but don't talk about that yet because Fantastic Four issue number 1, 2025 was released in, let me see when it was released. It came out in July 9th, 2025. So this newest issue of One World Under Doom came out this August. I think it was August 6th that came out in. So the One World Under Doom issue number 5 before that, it just didn't add up how like the Fantastic Four is now fighting Doctor Doom because it didn't happen in One World Under Doom yet. So there's a huge like discrepancy in the story here that kind of bothered me. It kind of made it feel a little off. I gave issue number 1 a 7. Not a great start, not a horrible start, don't get me wrong, it's decent. And I also want to say I didn't really like the art too much in this one. Who's doing the art in this? Let me see. I guess the guy doing the art on this is Ramos. I'm not really familiar with him. The issue cover looks great. Sue, the Thing, everybody looks good in this. Sue especially looks pretty sexy here, I'm not gonna lie. And I could see, I do like it a little bit, the style, like the inks and everything really stands out and the colors are fantastic, but it doesn't feel as good, okay? It's not as good as issue number 2 is, which we'll talk about next. Let me just fix that here, hold on a sec. Let me get out of that. Alright, so let's go on to Fantastic Four issue number 2. I gave this issue a 10. Now that might be a little loose, but I gave it a 10. I said here, this was a huge improvement from number 1. The art looks good. It's the same style, but improved. It's more precise and has good deliberate line work. The colors really pop out, and the artist really does the simple cartoon faces perfectly. And I said Sue does end up finding her way to the Forever Stone, but it's only thanks to Reed. If Reed in the 1226 timeline, whatever, he's like, how far, he figures where Ben and Johnny are, and he figured in issue number 1, well then Sue is the last one. She's the one who's in the far end future. So I have to set it up so she could find us, otherwise we're doomed. So he does this crazy stuff in here where he's like, if she's gone so far into the future that I haven't even calculated the how this would work out with the time stone, the forever stone, I'm going to have to do something crazy even if it takes me my whole life and I die in this timeline. So he like does his stretchy stuff and he goes into the soil of the earth and he like arranges all of the diamonds in the earth's crust and he creates like a kind of a directional thing to direct Sue on where to find a forever stone in the future, because it's really weird. It's a little goofy, but I thought it was kind of cool in its own way. So I said here, Reed stretches himself. Yeah, I said all that about it. And this helps Sue gather the team back. They return to the point where they were fighting Doom. All right, look, before I get into that though, so like what Sue does is she flies up and she's like saying, what would Reed do? How would he get out of this? How would he figure this out? And I forgot what she said, but when she had the epiphany, she flies up pretty much high up into space to look at the Earth, and she uses her invisibility powers to look through the Earth's surface, and she sees all these shiny arrows pointing in directions, and that was Reed. He made all the diamonds of the Earth give her directions, which was kind of cool in itself. The only thing, I did see some valid criticism that said like, well, wouldn't the changing of the Earth's continents and tectonic plates over millions and millions of years kind of fuck with the alignment that Reed did in like maybe 60 years or so it took him to do that for Sue? Wouldn't the arrows be kind of disjointed? Yeah. But I mean, you know, you can't ask for perfection all the time, and they had to get Sue out of that somehow. And I thought it was a pretty cool use of Reed. And it kind of disproved the whole thing that people were complaining about, that Sue was going to be this new boss bitch or whatever they're saying. And if she was going to be that, I would call it out myself, but that's not happening here. She just had to do what she had to do to get the team back, and I thought it was pretty good. So what happens is when they come back in time, to the regular time, right when Doom sent them out, they come right back. I even knew this was a mistake. Reed literally says he says, what was I saying? I said here, when Sue gathers the team back, they return to the point where they were fighting Doom. And like a moron, Reed tells Doom how they figured it all out. I knew as I was reading this, what did I say? Sorry, I'm just having a little trouble reading today. I knew as I was reading, Reed say all of that, I was like, I knew as I was reading Reed say all of this and tell Doom how they got out of his trap. I was like, no, you moron! Shut up! He's just going to do it again with the knowledge of your Forever Stone. And also, I mean, I guess you as the reader know that, because do you guys remember issue number 7 in the 2023 run, where they showed how Doom was able to like go back in time in all these ways, and he pretty much knows every single way to get out of every single situation and how to do everything. But even though it never works out for Doom, he still has this kind of like omnipotence, this kind of like he could see pretty much everything because he goes back in time the way he does. So I knew right away Reed made that mistake. And I said here, and what do you know? Doom sent them right back, but in those moments, he tries to send them back with this knowledge and he was going to take away their Forever Stone. But as they're being sent back again by Doom, Johnny looks over to the car that they used that brought them back to the regular time, and the issue alludes that the way they're going to get out of this is they're going to go in the car real quick and they're going to go way back to even before they were fighting Doom in issue number 1, and they're probably going to warn their past selves about all this and figure it out. But look, listen here. I said, really a good issue. My only beef is this still doesn't line up too well with One World Under Doom. Are they fighting Doom after they had the debate in issue number 6 of One World Under Doom? And this has been the fight after Black Widow and her crew exposed what was happening to Latveria. Something seems to be missing between this and One World Under Doom. So I'm not going to talk about One World Under Doom in this video. I'm going to talk about it separately, issue number 6 specifically. But Fantastic Four number 2, I'm pretty sure, that came out on August 13th. One World Under Doom issue number 6 came out on August 6th, and it doesn't, I don't know why, but it's just not, it doesn't add up. It doesn't seem to connect too well with the miniseries, the way they're writing these issues. So that's the end of this video. Pretty much a short one on the new issues. I will also do a new review when issue number 3 comes out. I think that's coming out September, probably around the same time. Just a heads up, I do my videos like this in advance, but they come out like a month or so later, so that's why I might be it looks like I'm behind, but I just have a way of doing my videos now where I don't want YouTube to take over my life. I'm not really doing this to get rich or anything, or I'm just doing this as a hobby, and I'm just doing it to kind of just round my life around. Like, I'm just to have another hobby and to not fall into some dark places. And I have a kind of method, a kind of pipeline I'm following, and it's not like I'm recording and then posting it right away. Like, I'm posting, a certain amount of time every week, twice a week or so, and I have my videos saved up and I put them out in a timely fashion. That's it. That's how I'm going to do this channel. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have fun in the comments. Like and subscribe.